Hey, welcome. Today we're going to dive into one of the most powerful ideas out there about personal growth, mindset. It's a concept that really shapes everything, from our careers to our relationships. And understanding it might just unlock the potential you never even knew you had.
So, let me start by asking you something. Think about drawing for a second. Do you think it's a special gift, something you're either born with or you're not? It's a really common belief, and it gets right to the very heart of what we're talking about today.
In fact, Dweck, the psychologist who did all this research, she tells this great story about how she believed she couldn't draw. For years, she was absolutely convinced she just didn't have the gift, that her ability was kind of stuck back in her school days. But then, one evening, that whole belief got put to the test.
See, she was a dinner guest of this fascinating man, a psychiatrist and a Holocaust survivor, who had this special guest book. And in it, he would ask people he really admired to draw an owl. So when he hands her the book, asking her to draw on the very last page, well, this is how she felt. Honored, of course, but also totally horrified, because she was convinced she just couldn't do it. But here's the big insight, the real breakthrough. Drawing isn't some kind of magical, innate talent. It's actually a collection of skills you can learn. Things like perceiving edges and spaces, and how light and shadow work. These are skills that anyone can develop with a little training. And this simple idea about drawing, well, it opens up a much bigger truth about ability itself.
So let's explore that bigger truth. Let's tackle this powerful myth that runs so deep in our culture, the idea of the lone, natural genius who just kind of produces amazing things out of thin air.
When we picture someone like Thomas Edison, we see a lone inventor having that eureka moment. But the reality? He had a state-of-the-art lab with 30 assistants working around the clock. In Darwin's theory, that wasn't some solo flash of insight. It was the result of years of teamwork and collaboration. And Mozart? His early stuff was often just patched together pieces from other composers. It took him over a decade of incredibly hard work to become the genius we remember today.
So what separated these icons wasn't just some raw, inborn talent, it was their drive, their process. And that brings us right to the core concept of mindset, which is simply the belief you hold about your own basic abilities. And according to Dweck's research, these beliefs really fall into two very distinct camps.
First, let's explore the world of the fixed mindset. This is the belief that your qualities, your intelligence, your talent, your personality are just carved in stone. You've got a certain amount of it, and, well, that's that. Now, these two mindsets create completely opposite psychological worlds. The fixed mindset, for example, it creates this constant urgency to prove yourself over and over again. Every single situation becomes a test, right? Will I succeed or fail? Am I going to look smart or am I going to look dumb? The growth mindset, though, it's built on the belief that you can cultivate your basic qualities through effort. It creates a passion for learning instead of a hunger for approval.
And man, this quote from the violin prodigy Nadja Salerno-Sonnenberg, it just perfectly captures that deep-seated fear in the fixed mindset. For her, putting in the effort was terrifying because it took away all her excuses. If she tried her absolute best and still failed, what would that say about her so-called natural talent?
Her story is really the perfect case study. She was so afraid of not living up to that prodigy label that she actually stopped trying. She'd even refused to bring her violin to her lessons. It took an ultimatum from her teacher, who basically told her he wouldn't be part of wasting such a talent, to force a choice. So Nadja decided to risk an honest failure, poured everything she had into her practice, and went on to win a major competition. Her struggle really reveals the dangerous logic that's right at the heart of the fixed mindset. It's this belief that if you're a true genius, things should just come easily. Effort isn't seen as a tool for growth, it's seen as a sign that you're just not good enough.
Okay, now let's step into a completely different world, the world of the growth mindset. In here, the idea that you could be a natural is, well, it's almost beside the point. Potential is something that can be ignited through passion, through effort, and through training.
And there is no better example of this than Michael Jordan. I mean, he wasn't born the greatest basketball player of all time. He was actually cut from his high school varsity team. But that failure, it fueled him. He started getting up early every single morning to practice. In college, he just relentlessly worked on his weaknesses. Even at the absolute peak of his fame, his work ethic was legendary. He was a genius who never, ever stopped trying to get better.
This famous quote, it just says it all. For Jordan, failure wasn't a judgment on his ability. It was data, it was motivation,
It was the very foundation of his success. He didn't just tolerate failure, he actually embraced it as an essential part of the process.
And that reveals the profound difference between the two mindsets. In the fixed mindset, a setback is a label. I am a failure. But in the growth mindset, it's a verb. I failed. Okay, now what can I learn from this? It totally transforms challenges from things that threaten you into opportunities.
So look, these mindsets aren't just some abstract ideas. They create entirely different psychological worlds. Let's take a look at how they play out in the real world of leadership and even in our most personal relationships.
In the business world, you see fixed mindset leaders get obsessed with their image of being superior. They surround themselves with yes men, they blame other people when things go wrong, and they see critics as enemies. On the other hand, growth mindset leaders, they're perpetual learners. They welcome debate, they confront the brutal facts, and they look right at their own mistakes to help the whole company improve.
I mean, check out this example of Jack Welch at GE. When a company they just acquired was hit by this huge scandal, Welch didn't look for a scapegoat. Nope. He personally called his top executives, took full responsibility, and said, "I blamed myself." That kind of ownership, that's the hallmark of a leader who's focused on learning and growth, not on protecting their own ego.
And this goes right into our love lives too. A fixed mindset makes you look for a partner who validates your fixed qualities, someone who tells you you're perfect just the way you are. A growth mindset, though, it leads you to look for a partner who will help you grow, someone who sees your flaws and actually challenges you to become a better version of yourself.
So after seeing these two different worlds, the most powerful takeaway is this: mindsets are just beliefs. And you know what? Beliefs can be changed. You are not permanently stuck in one way of thinking. Ultimately, it really comes down to this choice, which was beautifully put by the tennis legend Billie Jean King. You can live a life of what-ifs, protecting an image of talent that you never truly tested. Or you can live a life of effort, of passion, and of growth, knowing you pursued the things that mattered most to you.
It's a simple question, but it's a profound one. And your answer will be shaped by the mindset you choose to cultivate, starting today. Thanks for tuning in for this explainer.